It's a good day. It's a good thing. Thank you so much for stopping by. This evening, it is Etsy Shenanigans episode 34. We have gone from days to episodes now. And today's focus is Etsy shop owners help find Sebastian Rogers. And most of the news that I did look at on the social feeds had everything to do with that he has been missing for 100 days. This is sort of a milestone. I'll go over some of the posts that I saw out there on Twitter primarily, and I believe even the news, maybe more news stations picked up on it. Super sad. That particular milestone just doesn't seem to sit very well with anyone really missing for 100 days. Over the weekend, there were an instance of a drowning, I believe it ended up being at and around the Cumberland River, where at the Cumberland River, if you've looked at any map, it's a very winding kind of a river with, I'm sure, probably little outpostings of swimming and enjoyment on the river. So I don't know anything about that, but I do believe that it was clearly reported that this was not Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. So we will go through things as we have been going through the last little bit, me describing why I think it would be an important campaign for Etsy shop owners to make a decision that they would absolutely get involved in helping find Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and distribute the Amber Alert either in a quarter sheet flyer, a label, like a sticker, something in their packaging of all of the thousands of packages that are sent out a day, every day, 24 hours a day, to be delivered to customers. So we'll just continue on with this as I kind of speak about this thing just naturally, and then over time I'll have enough where I can put some things more firmly in writing and go ahead and write to Josh Silverman, the CEO of Etsy. I think I did either yesterday or the day before, I did discuss why I thought that this was kind of parallel to the shout out, the one click shout out that Josh did when masks became mandated, and his words to the shop owners of Etsy were, quote unquote, make masks. And it changed the course of many, many shop owners, and of course the intensity of where Etsy would actually build up all of its incredible rise, stock rise, and people being more aware of Etsy on the daily. So that's the idea. As with many things, you can work it out to. It's sort of like this, and this is what the cool thing is about YouTube, of course, is that I can just come on mic and begin to kind of understand these ideas over time. When you have something on your mind and on your heart, and you're just trying to work it out, and you don't work too quickly at it, especially if you have no experience in doing it. That you kind of work things out and begin to what's called massage the thought about a bit, so that you can then craft something that really does impact or move the needle with the person that can actually affect the change. Not that I don't believe that individuals can do this. There are many brilliant stories out there about the lone wolves out there to get things done that are good for all of us. I think social is very complicated right now, and so having a what do they call it? One man, one vote idea of this is just, I don't think it's possible to do. I can get on and speak about it, but even when we're seeing how the YouTubers are doing their performance, their entertaining performance on the story. They're not keeping the poster up and out, and they are not reading the Amber Alert, twice every 30 minutes. They're just not following any kind of rules of procedure because, well, there aren't any. I am learning a little bit about what law enforcement has to say about things, and we'll cover all this as things go along. So we've been live for 5 minutes. What I will do right now is make sure that the stream is moving along, and it looks as though we are running a bit rate of 10162.06. It's higher than the recommended bit rate, so we're doing well there. And thank you very much for the viewers coming in. Okay, so let's follow just the rules here of going over to the Etsy chart and just quickly running through the numbers of the day, being Monday, June 3rd, 2024, and then we'll get back on Sebastian's reading of the Amber Alert. So Etsy today enjoyed a 2.73% increase in price to close at $65.20. That would be 80 cents off of my bare minimum low of $66 in order for the stock to be healthy at all. The entire thing is very unhealthy, but $66 was kind of my line in the sand. And yet in after hours it dropped a little bit down to $65.07. Volume was pretty decent today, 5,140 shares. Please understand that the 52-week range has been 5660, which we did endure after the first quarter earnings, and to 102.81 for the 52 weeks. Please understand that Etsy operates two-sided online marketplaces that connect buyers and sellers around the world. The company's primary marketplace, Etsy.com, is the global destination for goods made by independent sellers. So there we go. I did run over to FinViz for a bit. There's one news story that I can't read because I'm not signed up to the what's it called, the media outlet, but what I will do is I'll put a link to it. It reads from the information 13 hours ago, how Etsy is trying to win back shoppers amid rise of Temu and Shine, and I will go ahead and link it. As I said, I can read the first couple of lines, and that is it because I'm not signed into their subscription. So let me pop this over to, this will be the first link that will go out today to that story. Okay, so there we go. All right, let's get to the reading of the Amber Alert, and then we'll start talking about how Etsy shop owners can help find Sebastian. And as every day I'm inside of Etsy every day now more, our shop it's open, but it hasn't launched. It won't launch until June 25th. So we're still not really in it, if you know what I mean. I haven't participated in the forums or had any conversation with any other Etsy sellers. There are some Etsy gurus that are on YouTube that I listen to get a kind of an idea of what's called the culture of Etsy before we really get into it. But once the shop launches, there'll be a lot more activity that I can participate in. Okay, so let us pick up the Amber Alert, and the one that I'm using on the screen is the one that was put out by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and Bobby Simons is the SA. I don't know. Is that like Sergeant? It must be Sergeant Bobby Simmons. Then under the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, Detective B. Carter. What the B stands for, I don't know, but it's both honored by the state of Tennessee, TBI, and also the Missing and Exploited Children. They did release the Amber Alert on February 27th, 2024, which would have been the day after or hours after he was reported missing. And here is the Amber Alert itself. An Amber Alert has been issued on behalf of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian is a 15-year-old white male. At the time he went missing, he was 5 feet 5 inches tall, 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Sebastian was last seen on February 26, 2024, in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Sebastian was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. Sebastian has a medical condition that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance. If you have seen Sebastian or have information regarding his whereabouts, please contact the Sumner County Emergency Communication Center at 615-451-3838 or the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Okay, so that is the Amber Alert from Tennessee. Over at my X, or formerly known as Twitter, I did put a full listing of all of the other organizations, including the Poly class, if you are looking for where the posters might have gone. And let me see if I can. I know I really should probably bookmark these. It'll make it a little easier for me. Okay, then I'll read some things that I posted yesterday on X. And if you're looking for anything that I posted over there, the very first line is always Sebastian Rogers. I will tell you that if you are over at Twitter, or you have a Twitter, but you've never really decided to post over on Twitter, definitely start posting, and you can kind of see the things that I'm doing as I hear them. I'm simply writing them. I'm not reporting. I'm just taking notes, kind of open notation about the case itself, calling it a case, definitely. So we have, I will tell you the media outlets, and just hold on just a moment. Let me get to it. Let's see. I'm going to go over a few of these things that I've written out too that may or may not be of value as you're involved yourself. So let me get to, okay, well, let me look up Polyclass and the posters over there. Okay, that is the, I'm going to go ahead and get into the actual website, and then let me look up Sebastian's name. There he is there. Okay. So you can view the flyer that they have. I'll go ahead and I'll put the link in, the precise link. It is a PDF, but it can still be printed out. So that would give you the TBI poster, which is the official Amber Alert. And then this would be from the Polyclass Foundation. So there's that poster there. I'll go ahead and read their poster out loud. It's part of their missing children database. There are 2 photographs, one of the one with the optimism shirt on. It's obvious that it's at Costco because of the Kirkland sign, because we can see the Kirkland sign. And then one that is this is where it gets kind of funny, because the photograph that we're looking at, the second photograph that they have of him, he just has the appearance of being older. That doesn't mean that he's older. There's no dates on these photographs, although I do believe the one that Kirkland, the mother would have provided that photograph, I believe, and suggesting that that was one of the most recent photographs. So it's very simply put. You can click here to print the flyer. And of course, if you have information, they give you the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, the 615-451-3838 number right there on the page itself, he's been missing since 2/22, February 26, 2024. His date of birth, they list the date of birth where they don't do that on the Amber Alert because it is December 7th, which would mean that he, January, February, March, April, May, June. So we're in June right now. So that is 15 and a half years. He's Caucasian, and the hair they're putting as being dirty blonde. So the Amber Alert has it at being just brown. The circumstances are Sebastian went missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 25th, 2024. He was last seen wearing black sweatpants with white stripes and a long-sleeved black shirt. Now, I do know that in the interviews or conversations with the parents on YouTube, and maybe you guys know or can say that that's kind of how you understand it, he was last seen wearing black sweatpants. Now, as we understand this, yes, they were black. They had white stripes going down the sides, but they were more like tracksuit pants. So not fleece like we would understand, or sweatshirt fabric, but more like tracksuit. So like, a Puma tracksuit or Nike tracksuit pants. And then they say a long-sleeved black shirt. So when you're reading it like that, it reminds you, well, did it have a collar, like a polo shirt, long-sleeve polo shirt, or was it a hoodie, a zip-up, a crew neck? And I believe that the parents just said that it was a long-sleeved t-shirt. Is that right, guys? I think so. So not having the word t-shirt in there, it could be anything, but with 100 days of wearing the same clothes, I think maybe his projection, his height and weight might be more useful currently. So none of this has changed since the first time that I visited the Polyclass site. Like, none of it has changed at all. There's been no update, and I don't believe that the TBI has an update even on their poster. So it's as if there's no new news about his condition when he went missing. Okay, so we have that one. All right, let's get into more of the things that have to do with what we've learned over the last little bit. And some of this I've tried to avoid when I've gone live because it's not the coolest. YouTube is not at its most stellar moment at all. I don't know if you guys agree with me on this. It seems to have really entered or re-entered Clown Town on crack kind of thing, and there's no coming back, by the way. Once all of that is out of the bottle, it's very difficult to get it back into alignment. That's why I do believe that if the creators could come in and just read the Amber Alert twice every 30 minutes, sit there on mic, that we would just be, as a whole, as broadcasters or creators as a whole, we would certainly, there'd be more synergy going on. Right now, it seems like it's a little bit out of control with the titles. And when this is all if you've been on YouTube long enough, you'll know that this it comes in waves, and it'll die down and it'll come back, and it'll be a little bit more controlled, and then it just takes a couple of people, and then once again it'll just literally trajectory, like eject out and start being more focused on, as they say, on the clicks and views. What I do believe is that besides the clicks and views, if you can put that out of your mind and just read the Amber Alert, share the links of the Amber Alerts, no matter what, just go ahead and make sure that people are connected. They can grab the link. They can remember the link from what I'm telling you on where to find it, and get it yourself, print it out, make these half sheets, like I've said, however it is. And I'm appealing to Etsy shop owners, however it is, whatever you see fit. Whether it's a 4 up on one sheet, whether it's an eighth of a sheet, something in your packaging to put the word out. So I've talked about stickers and stamps and written notes and, all of this sort of thing to get the word out. I do believe that there is something called for Etsy where these campaigns or these initiatives can be done literally with one email and one click. One email from Josh Silverman to the Etsy shop owners with a PDF for the Amber Alert, and then this thing is done and known and understood by a nation of primarily women on Etsy, a nation of very caring, creative women. And I do believe that force in itself can move the needle and see that we can. I know for a fact that we would be helping to find him. That apparently is the plea, the general plea that I'm hearing from the parents, that all we want is for this to happen. And I do believe that Etsy could definitely check that box. All we want, that's what we did. It's been known. There's checkups from all parts of the country where they're reporting back, yes, we got the poster. Yes, we sent it out to 25 packages this month. Yes, we sent it out to 10,000 packages a month. Some Etsy sellers are very successful, and they're pushing out products and packages, like I said, every day, all day, 24/7. So I know that it can be done. That's where I'm at with all of that. So let's get kind of into the way that I've been handling the information. So over at Twitter, aka X, I have been posting with Sebastian's name as being the first line. Now, when I finally got the Amber Alert, which was, by the way, the very first time I put the Amber Alert, I may have done it before the 29th. Let me see if I put it out before the 29th. So you can tell how late I am in making the decision on how in the world could what I do every day somehow be of help. Because very easy to say that your life can't fit, that you can't fit this kind of effort into your everyday. So on the 29th, the Amber Alert, I put the last known location. The subdivision, however, is called Victoria Place Phase 1. I know that the Amber Alert lists it as something else, but if in all of the realtor sites, and when, of course, the subdivision, maybe they did change the name over time, the subdivision was known as Victoria Place Phase 1. That is off of Long Hollow Pike, State Road 174. Then you take a little exit, it's a street that comes onto Long Hollow Pike. Kelly Lynn or Kellyn Lane. There are no sidewalks. There are only storm drains and grates. Now, when you are in front of the home, there is a storm drain and grate in the front of the home, and the steps are 6 stone steps that take you from the front door. So it has like a landing, and then 6 stone steps take you to the elevation of the front yard. Okay, on May 29th, I also did a few posts, and these are my notes. Note number 1, parents give conflicting answers on surveillance cameras from the neighbors. The stepfather says, quote, "You would have seen a shadow or a figure," speaking of the surveillance camera picking up. The mother says, it is so dark they can only see certain things where there is light. And then note the mother is a Brinks home security installer, so she knows something about surveillance cameras. June 2nd, I did a post, and just so that you know, the impressions that are coming in on my posts, and this is not I'm not, when I read the impressions, I'm not trying to make an impression on you. I'm just saying that X is such an incredible distributor of news and information and thought, just the stream of consciousness, as they would say. So it's very powerful in that regard, how many people will actually pick up the post, and then it gets registered as what's called an impression. So let me see here. Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right. On June 2nd, I took notes. The family of the father started a GoFundMe. The funds were to offset his job loss and assist with everyday bills. Note number 2, the stepfather expressed an issue and the fundraiser is no longer accepting donations. It was listed, raised $25,719 was the final number that is on the GoFundMe page, and the father has said some was donated. I did not catch all of the other things that he said. I do believe that he made some remark that some remains, like he has some of the money left when they closed the fundraiser, like what day they closed the fundraiser, and his account would have been funded the $25,719. There's another interesting thing is that I don't know what GoFundMe takes out of the $25,719, if that is the net or that is the gross after fee. That's the gross before fees, so I'm not too sure about that. That post got 249 impressions. June 1st, I did a note of foot searches in the first 2 days logged over 2,000 miles. That's what the authorities updated as reported by WKRN. But I was really interested to know more about how in the world they logged 2,000 miles. So I was interested to know how many searchers would it take to cover 2,000 miles in 2 days. So I went over to Gemini to help me understand this rare event, and it's very interesting what Gemini had to say. The thought and thinking is that they definitely overestimated. They shared an amount that is literally physically impossible, and they have not redacted that or corrected that. I think, in fact, that they've said it a couple of different times. I really don't know why they would do that. Gemini, this is the AI that I use, was pretty almost kind about it, that in cases like this, this is what happens. It's not like it's not conspiracy or anything like that. It's just that they get away with themselves and then they don't know how to redact. But the example that Gemini gave me was that if you had 5 searchers walking for 2 days, 10 miles a day per person for 2 days, you'd reach a total of 100 miles covered on foot, which is a much more realistic number for a ground search. AI goes on to explain the real number of searchers on foot and the distance they covered is likely much lower. So this would have there would have been a stadium full of people on foot covering 2,000 miles. 2,000 miles. So that was the post that I did about that. And it's hard, right? I call it reality math. 204 impressions on that. May 29th, I did a post. YouTube true crime channels are beginning to discuss a solution for fundraising and flyer distribution. This phase is fascinating as everyone has very different views of money, media, fiscal laws, and legalities. Crowdfunding for crime solving must be a huge niche. 214 impressions. And so this really, YouTube doesn't give us any instruction. Law enforcement certainly doesn't give us any instruction. The GoFundMe, maybe when you're starting a GoFundMe, maybe they do give you some advice. I've never had a GoFundMe, but I know as a donator, you get certain advice. In fact, you can rescind your donation and things of that nature they inform you of. But to hear that there was such, I mean, everybody had different views, oh, no, it's all in the t-shirts. No, it's not. It's all in the ribbon. No, no, it's all, we have to send the flyers out by mail and collect, people's identifying information. We have to do all of this sort of thing. So I think that this is also another moment with the missing kids, is that people need to wrangle this in their mind. How can they be of help? So I do think it's kind of a desperate cry, and it's probably something that YouTube could probably even really help with. Okay, May 28th, the stepfather, during an interview on YouTube Live, March 20th, describes how he and the mother deduced he left through the front door. I have to cough for just a moment. Hold on. Hold on just a sec. I may get up and grab some water, but I'll go ahead and read this right now. All right. The stepfather, during an interview on YouTube Live, March 20th, describes how he and the mother deduced he left through the front door, and only the front door, taking out the trash. Oh my goodness, hold on. Okay, just hold on just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and stop for just a moment, go get some water. Okie dokes. I may have to do that from time to time. Sorry, guys. I also had to move my mic around a little bit too. Okay. All right, so let's pick up where I was on X. This was my point about this. Taking out the trash through the front door is a question mark that I have when the refuse cans are next to the two garage doors. There's also an exit door there. Now, that doesn't mean that exit door doesn't have to be attached to the garage. It could be through a laundry room or another outdoor assuming that, why would, you know what I mean? You have the garage doors, and then there'd be a wall, and then there'd be another door. But that's how the configuration of the house has two garage doors right next to the refuse barrels, and another exit door right through the barrel. So, from what I understand, the mother was known as being this meticulous housekeeper, yet her son was going to take out the trash from the kitchen, which is kind of the center of the home. If you know anything about, I don't have the floor plan or anything, but the pictures have it be where it's the traditional, the kitchen is in the center, and it leads and it's open to a family room and the dining area, and it's kind of configured almost like a center of a courtyard. We also know that Sebastian's room was in the front of the house. So, okay, it could have been his trash that he was taking out, but it was understood, I think, by all of us that this would have been the household trash, the kitchen trash, whether it's recycle or, your everyday trash that you have from the kitchen area. But why would he carry the trash through the house, and stopping at the front door? You've got to open the front door. Then what, did he leave the front door open while he was taking the trash out? Because when you close the door, it's got another keypad that you have to, so the door is going to close. You have to open the door, you have to close the door, and then he has to walk down the 6 steps, go past the landing, walk down the 6 steps, make the dog leg over, go all the way in front of the house. Remember, air quote, it's so dark you can't see anything, although it was a full moon that evening. I'm not saying that there were clear skies, but it was definitely a full moon that evening. According to the mother, that it's always dark in their neighborhood. Okay, well, maybe for the duration that she's lived there, I don't know, but it's clearly when there's a full moon and there's no clouds that everything lights up, as we all know. But the fact that it's not suggested that he didn't go through the front door, they are convinced, and they have deduced and shared with everybody that he went through that front door. Now, the other part is that I guess the PR guy, Mr. Mathis, who's also noted in my ex, had suggested that the dogs, the scent dogs, the tracker dogs, did not pick up his scent at the front door. They did not pick up his scent at the front door. Now, maybe it's the way that he's explaining, because we're not being told what scent they did pick up. I had understood that it was generally from the house, and then it went through the neighborhood to the end of one of the streets. I've only seen one map. This was early on for me, so I didn't take a picture of it or any screenshot or anything of it. But it just, where was the scent picked up? Now, it's okay that we don't know. Scent, no scent, okay? However, when the parents are so convinced that he went through the front door, and then the biological dad's PR guy is telling people that those dogs did not pick up a scent from the front door of any kind. Even going to the refuse cans, they didn't pick up a scent of any kind. So he would have had to have traveled in this very what I consider very odd way. I did take a couple of notes where the stepfather had said, and I can't put this in context, so I'm just going to read what it said in the timestamp transcript on YouTube. Gone out because of how much noise it makes. Yeah, everybody would have, plus it would have been seen on camera. Let's put it that way, okay? Okay? I mean that it would have been seen on camera, so by, I don't know what that means, or reasonable elimination of all these doors, its front door, okay? So they were convinced. But for him to go out the window, so to speak, he would have landed in the flower bed and, barefooted. Yeah, we'd have heard something because he had landed on it and screamed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they still have him going out the front door, no matter what. Okay, let's go on to the next note that I took on June 2nd. Sorry that these jump around because of the way that X does things by the number of people impressions, I think. So this was the timeline. At 9 p.m., Sebastian went to bed. At 9:43 to 9:46, the stepfather says he and the mother were on the phone, meaning that they began a phone call between 9:43 and 9:46. Were on the phone and stayed on the phone for quite some time. From 9:43 to stayed on the phone for quite some time. At 10 p.m., the mother says she fell asleep on the couch. So from 9:43 to 10 o'clock, assuming they were talking. This is the mother and the stepfather, that they were talking. The stepfather says that the mother had started to fall asleep on the phone. Then come midnight, so the mother is asleep from whatever time between 10:43 and 46 and 10 p.m., which is, let's say, 15 minutes. So she's on the phone. So she's on a phone call at 9:43 with the stepfather, but 15 minutes later, she's fallen asleep or started to fall asleep. So, assuming they get off the phone, 2 hours pass, and the mother gets off the couch and goes to bed. Now, this was during a YouTube interview that this was shared. I know that there are other people that have done more specific or following, but let's get back to the reality here. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is missing from his home. Just think about that for a moment. He has vanished from this house. Somewhere between when the mother says, remember, this is the mother now, because there's no evidence that Sebastian went to bed at 9 o'clock. It's only what she says, her recounts of when he went to bed. So there's no phone call. He didn't say goodnight. Apparently, maybe he never said goodnight to his daddy. I don't know, right? And I think that we've all had friends that have gone through divorces, and that the parents get their nightly call to say goodnight and, wish them that they'll see them tomorrow morning or what have you, right? They've got plans for the weekend or whatever. You just do your nighttime call. So we only know from 9 o'clock that night that Sebastian went to bed, that he was in his room. Now this thud, I do have to go back and figure out when the thud was, because once again, from her own mouth, she yelled out to him, get to bed, go to sleep, what have you. But once again, that's only from her. She's not saying, and he responded back to me. So it's only it's like from her vantage, and we could say from her advantage. We really don't know. And we don't know when they came back home. I don't think that we ever get that date. This is all centered around when it's dark as Hades outside. They have no security cameras that are running in the house, inside or outside. The dogs aren't barking. He's not playing with the dogs. They don't have a routine. I guess there is a routine, but we don't know anything more about before 9 o'clock. Maybe the shower and But if he had, she says that he had a routine that he would shower, get ready for bed, have a little nighttime routine, go to bed. But she doesn't say that he's in his pajamas. So that nighttime routine is kind of, moot in a way. Okay, let's keep going here. I had to make a correction on a post I made May 25th. The last known photograph was at BJ's, a wholesale club located at 800 Rivergate Parkway in Goodlettsville. Needed to verify that. Not the restaurant of the same name. The precise transcript is one of the more confusing clarifications of the two photographs. I don't know if you guys appreciate that, or because we don't really know where the photographs, we assume the photographs came from the mother, but then, it's BJ's, but not the BJ's. There's also a BJ Steakhouse, but this is actually the Texas Roadhouse. And we don't hear how long they were there, or, if they were with other family. They're sitting together, unless that's another family member. Are you guys familiar with the Texas Roadhouse picture? The transcript, when they were interviewed, went something like this. You guys were at the Costco on Saturday. That's when you took the picture of him, correct? Yes. My wife was at Costco on Saturday. And you're going to see that the picture that she said was of him at Costco on Saturday doesn't, almost looks like there's age progression of the picture of him at the, and why the pictures are important. I talked about this before, is that for us to know who we're looking for, we have to know what he looks like. For us to know who we're looking for, we have to be given a certain amount of details about the way he walked, the way that he leaned forward, the way that he carried and comported himself. And I know that the mother had said something along the lines of that his, one day he had, blonde hair, and then the next day he was a brunette with heavy bushy eyebrows. So I think that this sort of thing, we have one photograph of him looking quite a bit younger than the picture at the Texas Roadhouse. So he says, contact, yes, my wife was at Costco on Saturday. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's in the flyer where it says optimism was on a Saturday. They were at BJ's on Sunday. Now, we do know now that BJ's is the new wholesale club. On Sunday, I'm okay. And when it's restaurant or no, they are all wholesale, like a commissary style stores where they sell in bulk. Oh, okay. Go Saturday BJ's on Sunday. Yes, he loves to eat all the samples, and BJ's is so new, so I took him. That is a direct transcript, guys. I did get a comment from a poster. He looks different in nearly every picture. He looked older in the Christmas picture. His hair is darker. It's why I don't understand the photos TBI used. I don't think anybody understands those photos. May 31st, I made a note over on X. Father interview revealed when Sebastian shared with teachers he had been threatened with a beating and how he used blood action turned on to demonstrate what a beatdown looked like. Sebastian was on several medications for treating ASD. Incident date is unknown. And I have a transcript there. The transcript reads, "You bust his butt? No, he cleaned his room." There was the threat of a butt whooping, right? And he was like, well, he said that you were gonna beat him. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So when he came home, I literally turned on Mortal Kombat and I turned the blood action on and I showed him what a beatdown was through video games. I was like, see all that blood and everything, son? That's a beatdown. I was going to bust your butt. Come on, really? He was like, I'm sorry, Dad. And I'm like, there, etc., etc. I believe Sebastian was something like 7 years old when this happened. 7 years old. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to the Amber Alert. This is the reading of the Amber Alert for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. An Amber Alert has been issued. That date was February 27th, 2024, as we can all count the days. It is a milestone date. Today, he has been missing for 100 days. The alert has been issued on behalf of Sumner County Sheriff's Office for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian, at the time of him going missing, was 15 years old. We do know now that he's 15 and a half years old on the 7th of June. At the time of missing, he was 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. We now know that there's an updated where he had dirty brown hair, or dirty blonde hair. Sebastian was last seen on February 26th, 2024 in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Sebastian was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. Sebastian has a medical condition that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance. If you have seen Sebastian or have information regarding his whereabouts, please contact the Sumner County Emergency Communication Center at 615-451-3838 or the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Your contact at the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is, I don't know what, SA, Special Agent, must be Special Agent, there we go, Bobby Simmons, Simmons. Sumner County Sheriff's Office, Detective B. Carter is the contact there. Once again, they did put the Amber Alert out 2/27/2024, and I could go over there to check them out and see if they have issued anything new at all. Not too sure about that. Okay, we'll try to wrap it up in about 7 minutes. It'll mean that I've been on for an hour. 23 hours ago, I wrote, search dogs never went to the front porch. The mother and the stepfather's house has been searched thoroughly, although I don't know that we know when they searched the stepfather's house and who else lived in the house. Foul play suspected. The PR representative Tony Mathis says on TikTok, he actually came out and said that foul play is suspected. The father was invited to CrimeCon by Court TV as a VIP, and PR rep suggested to decline. Sebastian Rogers, May 25th, I made the note that the mother describing their experience with puberty and hormones, these two photographs are 1 day apart, and 8 to 10 days later, these two photographs are 1 day apart, and 8 to 10 days later of the mother. I don't know what that means. I'll have to go back and see. Mother discusses the day and night he went missing. That would be on the TikTok channel of Chronicles of Olivia, although I do believe that that is also on YouTube. The evening that he went missing, if you were to carry it forward to 2025, the sunset would have been at 5:39 p.m. and the sunrise at 6:19 a.m. We do now know that the school bus, although we don't know what time that the school bus, I did take note of when his classes would have started, and that seemed odd that he would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning when school, I believe, starts at 9. I believe there's like a 3-hour difference. Now, the school bus did pick him up in front of the house. That's the tradition in that neighborhood, is that he would be picked up. I did do the FBI Knoxville. In fact, this is their flyer. I don't use their flyer in the top, but it's the one that's kind of the light green color. Missing child, help bring me home. NCMEC 2014106. Amber Alert 31317. Sebastian Rogers, missing since February 26th. Missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Age now 15. So that would have been, remember, in February. So we now know, of course, he was born in December. It would make him 15 and a half years old now. NCIC M757753007. An Amber Alert has been issued on behalf of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. He has a medical condition that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance, and they've got a QR code on the right of this flyer. How can you help? Scan, view, and share this QR code. Report sighting to call 911 or 1-800-THE-LOST. Sumner County Emergency Communication Center at 615-451-3838. And I have many, many more posts that I have made, and talking about the weather, what the weather was through the Sumner County Source Weather Station, WKRM, that covered the weather that night. Let me see here. Oh, here's the one about the agencies and so forth. Let me grab all of this and let's see if we can. Here's the newsroom. And yeah, the 425 is the latest one. The newsroom has published that. I'm going to go ahead and populate the chat with these links, though, guys. And that is one for there. And then you have the poly class. Here's the missing kids poster. This is all the same, but I'll go ahead and I'll put it in the chat. Okie dokes. All right. I think that that's about it. Like I said, there's many more posts that I've made over at my X, just taking notes about things that I've learned, things that I've read, listening to news reports, listening to the recounts of the parents, and having my own questions about very few things. Of course, I could go into the pharmaceuticals that he would have had, and, when would he have had to take his next dose? What happens, what are the withdrawals that he could endure? Could he find enough sustenance to make up for any kind of withdrawals? Did he know how to handle withdrawals if they couldn't get his medicines to him and so forth? How good was his eyesight? If he lost or broken his glasses, would he still be able to see? Were they reading glasses? Were they for poor sight? That sort of thing. Just general kind of things about how he is out in the real world with people looking for him. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up just right under an hour. Thank you so much for stopping by Etsy Shenanigans, episode 34. And today we have Etsy shop owners help find Sebastian Rogers missing for 100 days. Missing for 100 days. All right, everyone. I will talk to you tomorrow. That would be episode 35. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye-bye now.